Vomit cam. Retest. Nice. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to admin. We'll begin with roll call.
It looks like online we had Cheryl Hartman, Chet Krauser, Christina DeWar, Alicia Buckholz, Jacob Allington, Jason Hauser, Gina Miller, Kayla Thorners, Maddie Scott, Melissa Fisher, Melissa Gordon, Michael Ann Grimmett, Randy Arnold, and MCAT. In 206, we have Commissioners Vero and Slotnick, Allison France, Brian West, Carrie Powers, Karen Hughes, Jenny Daniels, Ann Hughes, Annie Kathy, Chris Lounsbury, Andrew Chorney, Andrew Hagemeyer, and then we have Brad Tashida and Jessica Cook. Yay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, is there any public comment on items not on the agenda? Don't see any. Will. Oh, sorry, sir.
It's just not part of the agenda. My understanding was these meetings are being called so that people can come in and talk about the proposal for the climate assessment office that the county is looking at. Is that not part of this agenda, or?
Yeah, public comment on, well, not on this
I
specific.
think there's any climate thing on this.
agenda.
It's part of the enhancement request, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's
the Representative Fisher.
budget request.
Oh, is it a one-time?
It is a one-time budget request, yes.
Oh, I remember we're talking about the hub,
Yes.
one-stop shop.
So that's the last item.
So if, yeah,
Okay.
you could go ahead.
Yeah. So this is supposedly a one-time assessment, as in one-time ongoing?
No, these are one-time requests from existing resources. So it's spent for 1 year. It's a one-time request.
Okay, so you're going to allocate resources from existing funds,
That is the request that will be before the commission, yeah.
We haven't made a decision yet.
right? But they are funds that the county currently has in their possession.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that was not very clearly enumerated, I don't think, in the article, because it would have been helpful, I think, because a lot of people, myself included, feel like it's another taking of monies for a project that has very little sensibility in basis.
Which article are you referring to?
There was an article, I believe, in the Missoulian.
We didn't write that article.
Okay, well, but where did they get the information from?
We didn't write the article.
Right, I'm not saying that. I agree. I heard you first time. So, but they wrote it, so they had to have gotten the information somewhere.
Doesn't mean they wrote an accurate article.
Well, okay, but was there any refutation to it?
Do we have anything on our voice?
Yeah, both the county's website page for budgets lists out the one-time enhancements and the ongoing, and this is under the one-time enhancements.
So the county has had in the past, and the city has had in the past, but I'll address the county, monies that have come in from federal sources to start programs that have then been continued by asking for money from taxpayers to continue a program that appears to be a worthwhile program. I'll look at the temporary safe outdoor space that came with monies that were not allocated by taxpayer dollars, if I understand correctly, not by local taxpayer dollars, county taxpayer dollars. Those were federal dollars. There have been other programs like that are started up, but they appear to be such important programs that they want to be maintained. Now, is this one-time allocation money being put forth to the voters to make a decision on, or is this a decision that the commissioners will make?
It's part of the budget, so that would be the
The
commissioners.
commissioner, us.
Okay. All right. So what kind of public input has been sought as far as the need for an entity or an organization or a department like this?
This right here, whatever people have written in, whatever's written in on the voice. Speaking to the departments.
Because this is a new department that you're starting up.
No, this is already as part of the extension and ecology department. So the department's been in place. This is a program within that department.
Okay, so you're going to allocate monies to that existing department in the tune of $5.76 million.
No,
Okay, well, that's, okay, well, fill
Okay,
me
this is-
in then.
yeah.
That would be good to know.
This request was for $100,000.
$28,000, I believe. So 123,348, 123,000.
Is that for a new position?
No, the two
Two
positions
positions.
that are currently in place.
Okay. Are they temporary positions or are they currently slated to be full-time positions?
They're one-year positions at full time.
Okay, so they're gonna be extended one more year.
That is the request before the
That's-
commission.
Right, so
We haven't
they are
decided.
currently a one-year position that's being extended another year?
No, there was a federal grant. That's the no, it wasn't even 5 million. It was 1 million.
1 million.
Correctly. That was the federal grant that was canceled back in February, and the request is to extend those positions for 1 year past the 6 months of grant funding.
Okay, and to what purpose would they be extended for one more year?
What do you mean?
What I mean is, if they were granted for a year, why would we be extending them one more year? What would be the benefit to doing that?
To provide the services for folks in the community, but maybe I'm not understanding your question.
Well, based on the article, and that's the only information that I'm going.
Okay,
It indicated that there were positions being, for which funds were being appropriated to write grants to provide some sort of assessment of the impact of the man-caused climate issues in Missoula City, Missoula County.
Yeah, so these positions are part of the Home Energy Hub, so they provide direct services to constituents who are in the process or looking to replace things like hot water heaters, other appliances in their homes and other ways that they can be more energy efficient. That's what this.
Ground source heat pumps,
These two.
insulation.
but I'm wondering if you're confusing, isn't there,
I'm not sure. There's nothing that we have that's.
okay,
remotely
I'm wondering
near
if there's like another, we're conflating, an ask for grants to do an assessment?
There isn't a request like what
Okay,
Representative Tashida is describing, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Because there is confusion, and obviously, having read what I read, there was it appeared to be a fairly clear indication that the county was asking for additional funds for something that might have been a temporary position that was going to be extended. What I'm hearing is that it's a current position that's being extended one more year.
That is the
That's the
request. yeah,
ask.
That's the
We haven't
ask.
said yes.
Sure.
That's the request.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the purpose of this? Perhaps I need a little bit more clarification.
Provide services to folks who live in Missoula County who want to make these types of improvements
Want to
around
improve on
efficiency.
water heaters.
Water
or
heaters,
solar or
ground source heat pumps,
Mm-hmm.
insulation, anything that's going to help reduce their energy bills and efficiency.
Okay, so the county is going to work with those folks to try to help them identify ways in which they could implement this.
correct,
Okay, why would that be a county function,
as opposed to,
an individual function? If I own property in Missoula County, and if I want to determine whether I want to look at radiant infrared heat or a ground source heat pump, or if I want to look at changing out a water heater, go with a on-demand boiler, why is that not something I should be looking at rather than having? the
okay, I
county
understand.
Provide input on that.
I think this idea is the same way extension or any way that a person can access information is just to help get this information out to homeowners so that they can be more fiscally responsible and manage their energy costs. And so I think that that is just a way to share information, to connect people with services, because it's kind of difficult if, I mean, there's lots of options for assistance, but trying to navigate that can be difficult for a person. Some people don't even know where to begin.
This is in the tradition of extension,
Mhm.
which has been in operation for more than 100 years around everything from nutrition to how to take care of your apple trees to how to do certain types of repairs. Every extension does all kinds of things.
So what I'm hearing is there's no end to what extension can do. There's no limitation. Because if I want to go out and find out information, if there's certain things on noxious weeds and I do my research and I come to the extension officer on
They'll help
pest
you out.
mitigation, I can go there, but a lot of research that I can do independent of
For sure.
extension to find out, and especially in this day and age when it's at at our fingertips to get that information. So I'm wondering why.
Because not everyone has the capacity you have or the access.
And
I'm 71 years old. I'm on the lower end of the capacity scale. Let's just say I'm in the 1/3 of the population that makes the upper 2/3 possible. So I can find a lot of that information. I don't know that I need to go to the county. So I guess the problem I'm having with all of this is that there are really three functions that city, county, and state government have according to our Constitution. Three demanded functions, and that is police and fire protection, resource protection, and education. Those are mandated by the state constitution. And there's a fourth that's implied, because in order to make those other three work, you have to have infrastructure. So it seems to me that that's where the focus should be, on spending and allocating dollars that taxpayers are paying in. Because if you look around at what's happening in Missoula, I mean, the Frontier Institute did an assessment on the county's budget and the city's budget from 2007 to 2023. And you know how much your budget was over based on population growth and inflation. It was over $40 million higher than it should have been, according to their numbers, which came from the county. So there seems to be plenty of money available to do things. And I'm wondering why we can't look at finding efficiencies in county government to reduce the cost to people, because you have people who are fleeing Missoula, whether they're homeowners or renters who can't afford to live there. I manage some properties for some folks, and we have the lowest rents in Missoula. I dare you to find a 1-bedroom apartment for less than $900. And that's what we offer. And we offer it because we want to help people out. And I have people telling me now, I'm sorry, I can't make my payment. I have to move. And when the average is somewhere between $1,000 and $1,250, you know it's becoming difficult. And every time there's an increase in expenses, those increases are either borne by the property owners or they're passed on to the people who rent from them. And we do our best to hold the line on those things. And we're at a point now where we can't do it any longer. So we're going to have more people who are going to wind up leaving. And they're not people who who belong to a municipality or any other agency that can come in and say, look, the cost of living has gone up. We need to increase payments to the folks who work here. These are people who are working entry-level jobs, or sometimes jobs that they've had for quite a while because of whatever decisions they've made in life as far as education experience. But the reality on the ground is that we have people who are leaving Missoula because they cannot afford to live here. And you see that and hear that every day. And I'm sensitive to that. I can only speak for myself, but at the fair, talking to people about their biggest concern here remains property taxes. And I'm going to hear people say things like, well, that's a state issue. Well, I served 4 terms, 3 on the appropriations committee. So I understand how it works there. The county assesses millage against whatever the assessed values are. They determine what their budgets are, and they have to determine how many mills to apply against property. Now, the state assesses the property, and they're going on current sales values, whether they're looking at market-based values, if they're looking at historical prices for those things. But the bottom line is the county has to look at figuring out what their priorities are and eliminating those needless expenses, at least needless in my mind, that could result in people seeing a decrease in their property taxes. We're not going to see that. I don't believe we're going to see it as a result of what the state did. I think what the state did this last session was a farce. I don't think that we're going to see a decrease, because if you all are short on revenues for your budget and you have a set number of mills against the assessed value of properties, how are you going to make up the difference if ag can't make it up and businesses can't make it up? And the simple answer is you have to go to the property owners. That's the only place you can go. So I think that it's important for this group to take a serious look at what they can do to create efficiencies and to reduce their expenses. And one other thing I would ask of you, and then I don't want to monopolize your time. These meetings being held at 10 o'clock are difficult for folks. Now, I'm semi-retired, so I have a little bit more control over my schedule. But there are a lot of people who work who maybe their schedule won't even allow them to Zoom in. And it seems to me, if you want to get input from people about some of the decisions that are being made, it would be advisable to hold these meetings at a time when people can can show up without having to impact their schedules with children, with school, with work, et cetera. So I would humbly request that there be meetings held after work hours to give people a chance to come in and show up and voice their opinions. I mean, I would like to say I speak for a number of people, but I cannot do that because they need to show up themselves. So
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before you go, can I just add
Yeah.
just a couple things you mentioned? Just
Yeah.
want to speak to one thing about the Frontier Institute and the other thing about the other statement on property taxes, just to add to that. The Frontier Institutes look at budgets. It's just looking at budgets, not at taxation, which is the part that most of us, me included, are mostly concerned about. 2/3 of our budget doesn't come from property taxes. I'm going to say it again because I feel like it's so powerful. 2/3 of our budget does not come from property taxes. You mentioned an implied responsibility within the Constitution around infrastructure. You look at major expenses during those years, not expenses, major chunks of revenue were coming in. Those were for infrastructure grants, not local, not paid by local property taxes. So if you just look at that, oh my goodness, they went up by $20 million. That's just terrible. What was the work that was done out in the Swatucane area? Terrible. We brought sewer, water, road grid that facilitated development. More housing starts there than anywhere else. More building permits than done anywhere else. With mostly non-local property tax payer money. So just looking at budget doesn't cut it. You got to look at the level of taxation, not the level of budget. And our level of taxation is right there in the middle compared to other major counties in the state. Other piece I wanted to add around property taxes where you said, the state assesses and then the county does mills. You're skipping a key piece to that, and that's the tax rates that you folks in the legislature had responsibility for and historically had altered in times of volatility and big change in home prices. And I don't believe it was a farce what the legislature did. I think what they did in a bipartisan way was quite powerful. And if I want to pull these numbers out of a hat, it was, Chris is going to have to help me, something like 44% of homeowners in Missoula saw their taxable values drop by more than $1,000, which means they would enjoy tax relief in this upcoming year, specifically because that law passed. 44%, another 36% saw their taxable values either zeroed out or went down by $999. Again, if not zeroed out, awfully close. For those people, it's not a farce to stop seeing their property taxes soar, but to remain flat. And that happens almost, not entirely, but almost irrespective of the millage we apply. I'm only bringing this up to show how powerful those tax rates are and that wasn't mentioned in your list of the three things. So, but I appreciate your coming in and I'll better jump to it. And if you ever want to individually get copy and talk this stuff, I'm fully available.
And in regard to the comments you made about the monies that come in that are not property tax related,
Yes.
where do those come from?
All I said was they were not property taxes. I didn't,
Correct?
federal and state
Yes,
and
grants,
fee
yeah.
for service and philanthropy,
Okay.
all three of those.
Okay.
All I said was
Majority
they
of-
were not property taxes.
The majority of them would be tax related, whether federal
Yeah.
or state.
And what that
And
means,
guess whose pockets those?
yeah,
come out?
mostly the folks in Massachusetts and New Jersey
Yeah,
and
we
California.
are
For every buck we put in, we get a
welfare
buck
state.
65
We
back.
get $3 back.
We're killing it,
Yeah.
man. It
Well,
means
so
we
we're
didn't pay
taking
for that.
money from other people because we're in a welfare condition.
No, because we're in a low population condition, not a welfare
We're a
condition.
welfare state by taking those dollars in.
We're gonna have to meet up in person.
Brad,
on
do you
this stuff.
have a card?
I do not.
I got your info. I'll
Yeah.
reach out
Okay.
to you.
And,
Well-
and the other point I would make, that's where you were talking about the decrease in
Tax rate.
tax rates. That will only be realized if the monies that are coming in from non-residential
Right.
sources will offset the decreases.
5 specific industries who've been losing taxable value every year for as many years as we could count. We are subsidizing their activities. I feel like it's paying a fair share is all right. And maybe we disagree on that, but that's where I would land.
But I'm
on
just
that.
saying, those businesses you're talking
I'm not
about,
talking mom and pop businesses. I'm talking major national,
Okay.
major national entities.
but what are those individuals going to do, or those entities going to do with the increased costs that they're being
They're
assessed?
gonna pay those costs.
Businesses don't pay costs. They pass it on to their consumers.
You know, we're talking about a situation where there are multiple businesses involved, and I fully believe in capitalism and the free market. And if we're talking the telecoms, they're going to battle for my business. Somebody's not going to hand me all of those costs. And we're also talking about a minuscule amount of market share for these companies. They could eat these costs and it wouldn't even touch the bottom
We
line.
could, but if you
And-
look at businesses, they do not pay these increases. They-
I think these major telecoms will. They advertise nationally what their rates are. They're not going to say $44.99 a month, except in Montana where it's $52 because they raised their property taxes.
No, well, that remains to be seen. Hopefully that's the case.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any more public comment? Okay, Jenny Daniel.
Hi, I'm just here. It probably could have been on the consent agenda, but it is a contract, so I don't even know how to start. So we have the MacArthur Foundation money. And within that money, they had decided the Safety and Justice Challenge money, within that money, sorry, national level, we have a contract with them. It's called the Wichita Grant. And it has been a very long process to get.
Saw that.
Yeah.
I've always wondered how it was. Yes, we had to actually Google it. But so it is it's just been a challenging contract, partly because it's a foundation grant. And then we had contacts through that was changing, but we also had the woman that Misty Heron that's referred to, she is under the contract. She was an OPD, Office of Public Defender employee, but also under our Safety and Justice Challenge strategies as a Native American support specialist. Within getting that money, the Wichita money, she moved to being a Missoula County employee, which caused could there be conflict in time? Could there be just all these things? And so we met with Erica Dave Wall and Jacob Allington, and they've been amazing. And we figured it out. And she has like $1 million of liability insurance as an independent contractor. Is the bottom line.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, I would move we approve the amendment to supersede the PSA.
Second, so glad that last sentence, it's been figured out.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was like maybe a PSA, there's the PSA versus the independent contractor. That whole thing has been getting decided at
A
the
lot of good people
contract
working on
level.
that.
So yeah, anyway,
Okay.
thank you.
All in favor? Aye.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah.
Correspondence? None? On to our one-time budget requests.
Yeah, and so commissioners, we're actually going to jump to the end of the list here and go a little bit out of order because Andrew Heckemeyer has the previous
Thanks.
commitment. So we're going to actually start at the bottom and start with our technology, sorry, with the YTED, not another sheet.
Thank you.
I've got 3 items on here.
Okay.
Make them brief.
Hey, Josh.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll start with the bottom 2 and work up. Item 23172320. I guess that's the account number. Sorry, it's the YTED district items there. As the Y grows, the fire districts that are out there, they're having a real tough time trying to understand how much growth is going to happen and when it's going to happen and what their equipment needs are going to be. All of this growth that we're helping facilitate. Our Y infrastructure plan does not get into the level of detail that they need. How many, do we need a fire station? Do we need a ladder truck, et cetera, et cetera? So what we're proposing here is to use tax increment financing to pay for a study on the fire needs of the Missoula Rural Fire District and the Frenchtown Fire District to help them get a plan to prepare for that growth. Real simple.
It's a great idea.
Reminder that tax increment finance is already in the bank. This is money we've got, and it can only be used for certain things under statute. So the other item I have on here is if you just go a few up, it's under technology and tax increment. It's DirecTV land sales lease surplus transfer. So we own a building, the DirecTV building in the technology park out by the airport. This building, the DirecTV pays a lease. They pay, a monthly lease. Most of it goes to pay for the debt service to build the building. A little bit is left over. That little bit of leftover has always gone into the tax increment account for the technology district. So what we're doing is we're mixing restricted funds, tax increment, with unrestricted funds, which is the lease money. What we're proposing to do is just transfer that money out. That's what this is for. So we keep unrestricted funds and restricted funds in separate accounts.
Okay, so this is all the,
Also money we already have.
Yeah.
We're messing with money we already have here. Yeah.
why does it have to go through this process? It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Got it, thank you.
It is, you have to appropriate money.
Okay.
That is,
But I thought
that
this
is one
was
of your
in its
statutory
own, like,
duties.
fund or count, but
It is, but you still have to appropriate money. So if we're moving money, you must appropriate that.
thank you.
Okay. So assuming the commission believes all three of those are okay? Yes.
Yes.
All right. And we'll jump back to where we were when we left off last time, which was at building code.
Oh, thanks, Andrew.
Just as a reminder, building codes is its own special fund. And so these vehicle purchases were actually approved at a recent admin because they do have the cash available to.
Oh, I'm lost. Where are you?
We're on the front page again at building codes, which is about a little more than halfway down.
Thank you. I couldn't.
Yeah,
couldn't
those were
find
the
these.
new vehicles you authorized for Kevin
Yes, thank you.
Heisler, yeah. Did you find it, Josh? It's 2394,
2394.
about 3/4 of the way down. On the front page, yep, 3/4 of the way down.
Okay, thanks. Building code.
Building codes, yep. And so this is one you've actually already approved at admin because they do have the cash available and their bid was about to expire. So I'm
Got
going to
it.
assume you're going to continue to approve that.
Yes.
Okay. The next two are in the detention facility. And it's a request to continue the safety rail program and to replace the server for it's the data from the cameras on those. And Andrew, do you have the cash balances for the other funds now that we're out of the general fund?
How many railings do we have left?
Quite a few. I'm in the one-time requests. And they are request 2301 is the fund. Detention center. It's the you have both ongoing and one time here as opposed to just one time. If you want to just change so you're only looking.
Chris, is that 356 number? Am I looking at the right number?
For the
For
railing.
the rail project, yes.
Yeah.
So we have the detention safety rail, which is 378,000, and the milestone server, which is
79.
79,000.
356,000.
356.
Or sorry, 356.
Can these be? Well, we'll get the background on it before I ask. What were you going to say? That's what I.
Yes. It's a thing.
Can these be capitalized or is there some?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer there is the rail project might be, but it's an ongoing project, so this does not complete that. And in chatting with Andrew, it does not look like that fund has capacity to take on debt service either. So my suggestion is, at least for this year, they're going to have to hold.
Got it.
Hear that?
And does do an entire pod, this 356?
It does one pod, yes.
Just gonna have to come up with
6
another.
more to do?
I don't remember how many. I can check with Jason Hauser.
Because some of them have been done.
Some of them have the high risk units have been done.
Okay.
So 'cause that's where we started.
Well, we'll have to pass on this one.
Yeah. So the next one would jump down to ecology and extension, which would be the community food assessment match.
What number are we at?
28,
It's the
41.
fund 2841.
Backside.
No.
Just two down from where you were.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
They're small numbers.
So
It's under district.
looks like they applied for
On Tuesday.
it looks like they applied for a $40,000 grant, and this would be the match if it was approved.
Was it a
You got the grant.
$20,000 ask?
$20,000 match for a $40,000 grant.
Can we say yes for a moment and put it aside and do math?
Yeah, I don't know if Andrew has where ecology and extension is. That's what it's up there.
Yeah, they don't have any cash.
Okay. So yes, we can, where it's a grant, we could make that one to the side.
So we can say yes.
Well, we can hold it.
That's what abeyance while we do math.
So the next one doesn't get easier. This would be the programs that, or this would be what I believe Representative Tishida was talking about, which is the climate resiliency positions, which is 123,348 to continue that 1.4.
Oh, and we share half with Climate Smart? Why is this 1.4? I thought it was two FTEs.
I believe part of one of the FTEs is funded by ecology and extension as the match, the previous match. for the
Okay.
Grant.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and ecology and extension does not have.
So I mean,
for cash.
for the moment, I feel like can we just say no and do math? I just think this is too super sad, and we don't have this money.
Yeah, I mean, we can,
Tentative no while we do math.
yeah, yes, we can do math, but the reality is they do not have that amount of funding.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
okay, that would take us to the fair, which looks like there are 3, maybe 5, sorry, requests. And Andrew, I know you were going to look if they had beyond the debt service. The fair special district.
Cash.
You were going to look at what the debt service was versus the revenue for the special district. Okay. We'll need to come back to those.
Okay, fair, we'll just come back to.
Yep. So we do have Gina on for the health department to talk about the next
Thank
couple.
you. Hey, Gina.
Gina?
Hi, thanks, Chris. I think I have an old list of one-time requests. So you said a couple. I don't know which one's up or what order they're in.
So no worries. So the first was to move to, you had taken off the ongoing for the 1-year animal shelter attendant out of cash.
Oh, gosh, I'm so happy. I can stop frantically teamsing you and Micah. Yay. Because I didn't see it on my old list, but I'm glad that that's on there. Yeah, we have a real critical need out at the animal shelter to add a shelter attendant. Those are the folks that are tasked with caring for animals 7 days a week, all days of the year. And as you know, as our population grows, so does the number of animals that we have to care for. And that's a difficult position, and they do a great job and take care of a lot. But what we have found is that because we don't have enough shelter attendants, our animal control manager, Holly, is also working 7 days a week. And I fear is at real risk of burnout. When I met with Holly and Shannon to talk about that, she thought an additional shelter attendant would really be the way to go. We did originally put this in as an ongoing request, and just as a reminder, the health department is funded differently, both from a different assessment and also 60% from the city and 40% from the county. The city's budget process is just a couple weeks ahead, and I learned about a month ago that the city declined to fund the 60% ongoing request for a shelter attendant. And I'm not willing to let it go. So my next option was to ask for one-time funding for a temporary shelter attendant to try to get some relief, even if temporarily, for our folks out at animal control.
And then the other one is one that you'll have to approve because it was the payout for a retiring employee.
Oh.
So
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like after listening to all these other ones, I probably have to explain myself with that. Of course, our cash has not been incredibly healthy for a while. And so when I put that request in, our cash was even in a worse state than it is now. So I'm less concerned with backfilling cash, but I would just let you know that if that were approved, we already have it spent in covering employees whose funding is in jeopardy. And that includes pass-through funding, most specifically from DPHHS in programs like tobacco and cancer prevention and public health emergency preparedness. Early indications is that in the first quarter, about 30% will be cut, and we might be able to scramble and keep all bodies in seats. And then we don't know what will happen after that. We also have some uncertainty related to the federal budget adoption that is looming. And so that that cash is really what we will use to cover folks until we can scramble and find new funding or figure out how we can continue to serve the community. So that's really what the purpose is. It's not just simply to backfill cash that we had to pay.
Okay, so this is already done in a sense.
Yeah, but what Gina is asking is for the general fund to absorb that
Sure.
and backfill that so that she can,
Because her cash isn't
Is there-
robust and,
well, to allow her to fund those other
To do
positions.
this.
yeah, got it.
Anna's keeping a general track of the general fund.
This is the only general fund one that we've talked about today, though, correct?
Yes.
So is it possible math-wise just to say yes for a moment and do more math?
Or we just have to.
I mean,
This is like a guess
I'd
because
say yes, although Ann can tell you between those two, it's
Yeah.
$100,000, whether, I don't remember. Sorry, Ann.
I will tell you in 1 second.
Thanks.
Mhm. We're at 495.
If you were to say yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
To the ones that you said yes to on
which would put you at
Tuesday.
the.
And we haven't, did we talk about the things we were going to look into capitalizing?
That is without the things that you were.
That is without those
That is
capitalized.
without the things. So can you say those totals again, Ann? Was
The capitalized is 479,000. And the yeses, tentative yeses so far for general fund are 495,315.
And we have like five something.
500,000, yep.
Yeah. So we're, if this was a yes, that's pretty much done.
Correct.
we haven't even gone to the second page, but I feel like this is like done already. We have to do this. That's,
Well,
We don't have to backfill Julie Tenuis's. Like Gina has already paid that out, but what she's asking for is the ability to have those funds for reserve so that she can address the changing
The rest of-
landscape.
yeah.
yeah,
And it does, the what I just shared includes that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it includes it.
Yes,
Yes.
I put both of the health
Okay.
in for that total.
Both, okay, the animal shelter attendant and this backfill.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Takes you to 495.
Thank you.
You
All
bet.
right. Well, can we just keep it in there for a while and keep going and then
Yep.
Yes.
do another round of sorting?
Thank you.
Thanks for considering. I don't envy you.
Oh, you're great, Gina. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina.
Okay. That would take us to the back page. LAC. And Karen, are these general fund, requests, or these funds out of?
Does LAC have 5,500 in cash?
How do I say this? Our funds are still commingled between PDS and LAC, so essentially the planning floats all of the requests, I believe.
Gotcha.
Oh, so this 2254 is the planning.
Okay.
I mean, it's a mix of funds, but
Would everybody use this printer or would it just be for
for the whole, it's
everybody?
for everyone who's over in
That building.
that building.
Okay, thanks. And that 5,500 exists?
Yes. I was looking for the email that I had from,
Yeah, Karen, I'm just jumping in, Josh. Yes, as we understand it, Karen's point about the commingling of those funds, it's not totally clear, but in our conversations with finance, that's the assumption behind that request. We still need to sort out the dollars, but there should be adequate cash.
Okay.
so what I
great.
had is the FY26 beginning cash is 867,153.
Okay.
Which takes into account the reserve, FY26 expenditures.
How much
Hang on.
of that is reserve?
Plus we use 274 in the base budget to balance the fund. So actually 573 available is what Micah is telling me.
Micah says, yeah, the 2301 cash estimated ending FY 25 balance, 124,394.
Okay, so 5,500 can.
What did you say?
That was for detention. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay,
Oh, that
thank
was
you.
detention.
That sounded
Sorry.
much bigger than the number you just said.
Yeah, 57.
Yeah, I had 573,000. Micah, is that what still?
573,000.
Yeah, but that, you gotta keep
No, the
in.
number
Without
that you
reserve.
just listed was 866,743. Karen, I'm gonna correct you. That was the number you gave a few minutes ago. That is what I
Right.
have as the estimated beginning balance with a 5% cash reserve. And that
And then you
5% is 5% of FY 26 expenditures.
But then you also said that we used 274,000 in the base budget to balance the fund. So there's really about 573 available for new requests.
Yes, you are correct. And that number has actually increased to 326.
That's not
That's
How does
going
five-
down.
how does
not
And
up.
that you're
73 go
right.
through
That's
to-
rollover. That's carryover. I apologize. I'm looking at my comments here. Yes.
So what's the actual total number?
573
570.
remaining.
No.
Is that correct?
Yes, that is our estimated cash balance.
$573.
$573,000.
So 5,500 is, we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Sorry for the clunkiness,
Okay.
but we're there.
New printer will
The
happen.
printer's happening.
Okay, so that would take us to office equipment upgrades. Which they would also have funding for.
Yeah, they have funding. We just do this.
Yeah.
Fairgrounds master plan is probably the one that should be pulled out of there and talked about separately, as that's not really part of the thing, so we can come back to that one. Which would drop us down to Larchmont. So I'm assuming, Andrew, that Larchmont has the cash to pay. So this is the equipment replacement
Leaf vacuum.
for 96,000.
Oh, 96,000.
I've never heard of a real grinder before.
Not a fake grinder.
And I'm happy to describe that.
Well, thank you.
So the reel grinder, the reel is what you call the mower blades on the big mowers for the golf course. It's a
Okay.
blade reel. They currently have an outdated grinder to sharpen those. They require regularly weekly sharpening. And so what they're hoping to replace it with is a reel grinder that's automated and technologically advanced and safe for them to use. And it has a hood and a vacuum to grab all the metal shavings.
This is to
allows-
sharpen blades.
Yep. It's a big advanced standalone machine.
In the
And
cash,
they already
does
paid
cash
for it.
exist?
They have it.
That's,
They have it.
so Andrew, do we have Larchmont's cash?
I don't.
Okay.
Mike, do you have large amounts of cash?
I mean, I see a 0 over there on the far right, so I'm like, oh.
That's my
they
guess.
Got it taken care of.
Double check.
Yes, they have plenty of cash. They have an estimated $1,524,239, which includes the 5% cash reserve, and they are not using any cash in their base budget.
Okay,
So you should be able to approve the
They
two
can-
Larchmont,
Yeah,
they can handle all
yeah,
of
they
that.
can do that.
the IT.
Oh, the IT.
Yeah, that's great that their cash can cover the IT upgrades as well.
That's great.
Well, yeah, Chet.
Yeah, Chris, just the master plan, the fairgrounds piece, that is an LAC request. So I can speak to that. Just wanted to let you know that that's in the right place as far as where we're wanting that request to be. And I can speak to that when you are ready for it.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead. Sorry, I would have assumed that would have been with Fair.
Yeah, that's okay. So the concept here is, as we try to have some next step discussions around the livestock building, some of the other kind of additional changes like parking that's associated with the lease at the Glacier Ice Rink, any future conversations or thoughts that the ice folks have in relation to, you know, the future of their ice needs, et cetera. Essentially a next step look that I would take the lead on coordinating with lands, culture and recreation, ecology and extension, and you know, probably Andrew out of economic development as well at some level. That request is intended to support if we needed some form of public engagement. We're hoping that that can be a fairly light lift, but if we need some assistance, that's what that would fund. It's not necessarily to design a big full-blown plan per se, but it is intended to support that effort to engage at some level with the public as well as stakeholders to figure out how we might tackle getting some of those plans that have been part of previous conversations realized into the future. So that's what that request is for. And again, that one would come out of cash. It's the same scenario that we talked about with the printer where we still have that commingled cash balance, and the numbers that you heard from Karen and from Micah are going to apply in this case as well.
Great.
So just if you take that 573,000 and you subtract out those LAC requests and all the PDS requests below, I think the balance is, our cash balance is still at 261,000
Sounds good.
for future reference. Okay, thank you.
Let's move forward. I'm really excited about this. Jed, I feel like you described this well, but if you're hearing similar things from out there in the community about Livestock Center and challenges with ice and other ice groups, and really believe strongly in this kind of a process, we'll get all the players on the same page and we'll move forward with a shared vision and kind of have a roadmap on how we get there.
Okay, so I'm going to keep us moving because we have 10 minutes left to
Yeah,
get through all the
sorry.
rest of these. So Lolo Sewer and Water is out of their special assessment for the replacement of the dump truck.
And we do that.
Yeah.
The OEM conference room,
It looks
I
like they
believe,
got it taken
yeah, I
care of.
believe was coming out of their.
That zero is very attractive.
Then we have Karen's requests for
Okay.
development and sustainability.
Okay,
Be seeing more zeros.
yeah, so quick reminders of what these are, or quick updates on what these are. So the 30,000, is that the first one? Yes.
Yeah.
Is for EV feasibility assessment to look at what the plan would look like to shift our fleet vehicle towards EV or combination hybrid EV, and the necessary infrastructure to kind of create a fleet plan for how to make that transition given our variables in Missoula County. It could fund some other element of the carbon neutrality plan, but this seemed like an easy piece to pick off, really discreet, and one of our primary contributors to emissions is our fleet.
How often do you feel like you guys are using your fleet to cover real mileage? Like
This is the whole county's fleet.
Okay, so I think I figured out the answer. Okay, I was thinking, how often are we driving to Helena or driving to Bozeman as compared to yesterday? I just had to drive across town.
This would help do that assessment to help us figure out.
Great, and I'm really glad you mentioned the plug-in hybrids as well, so straight up
Yeah.
EVs. 'Cause we can do
Yeah.
both.
And we have to take into consideration differences in, like, what Public Works and their heavy machinery versus
For sure.
the sheriff's office. We have a variety of needs. This
really
helps get us a
different needs.
plan and figure
Great.
out how it would be feasible to move through that process.
Great.
And even look at funding sources.
And it's got that big, beautiful zero.
Yeah.
there, too.
Climate Action Green Power Program. So there are, let's see, I think this came up in the,
And that one, that's just the 33,000 that's already been approved in financial.
okay. So this is a one-time, this is the estimated cost for one more year of work on the Green Power Program, both UDA law and the energy strategies contracts. And this is, again, all the costs are split between Missoula County, City of Missoula, and Bozeman. And so the cost share keeps us even. There is, we are proposing to spend out of our sustainment budget for contracted services more than our fair share this year because Bozeman and Missoula front-loaded that. They needed to get rid of some money that would go away. And so we are behind on the energy strategies contract, but we've been splitting the UDA contract even Steven the whole way along. So this gets us through one more year of negotiations, and we have made some progress recently. So yay.
Great.
County land use, the county comprehensive plan, public engagement. So as this year, we're working on the existing conditions report. And that's under with a community development block grant that's helping fund that. The next phase would be to start engaging the community to talk about vision, goals and policies, and the actual update to the land use map, which hasn't comprehensively happened since 1975.
This
It's
is
going to be a heavy lift in public engagement.
And this is the next step.
Yeah, this is the big one. And what it would help us fund, and we used information that we gleaned from recent projects, including the city's post-planning effort, getting ideas about the costs. We think that this can help fund the contracted services for project branding and messaging, 3 rounds of workshops, public meetings, a survey, content for website, Missoula County Voice, assistance with press releases, tabling events, and we've tried to include estimated cost for a postcard mailing in this effort.
So I really appreciate this next step and all the emphasis on engagement and getting people involved.
Yeah. Leadership Montana Masterclass, fund the tuition for me to attend the master's.
Is this because I got escalated with Mr. Cheedy? You're sending me back? Failed, got to go do it again.
You remain seated. It's good.
Summer intern, we've had an incredible intern this summer, and we used cost savings from this last year to help fund the first half, and we need to finish him out. He's working 10 to 15 hours a week, helping develop a communications plan and materials for our shoreline program and our floodplain management program, both the ongoing pieces. We have the floodplain comms. He's also going to help with the floodplain comms work specifically for the mapping. But this kind of gives us a little more in-house assistance, and he's essentially going to have annual communications plans for each of those programs by the end of the summer.
Oh, I have a question about interns. Do they have to be certain age, certain level of school? Like, what is our?
They have to be
what is
like,
our-
In college.
yeah, I think they have to be registered for.
Okay, for all
Or they could
departments
be
in the
like
county?
recently
Graduated.
graduated. I can't remember.
And they
what
get
it is.
paid a little bit and or credit depending on their
But
situation.
they don't have to. You don't.
You don't
Yeah.
have to.
Okay, so for all departments, all interns
Every-
have to be.
Yeah, but and your pay can vary.
Right.
Like there's a lot of variability in how different departments pay them or classify them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No. Community Wildfire Protection Plan, project budget enhancement. So this is, we've been queuing this one up for 2 fiscal years now. We started with a very scaled back scope of work and a $75,000 budget request a couple of years ago. We got a community wildfire defense grant for another 100,000 as we grew the scope, as we talked about what the needs were for this project. And then when we looked at it again with Kimmy and a project she's working on with Park County, and looked at other projects that had been done in the nation and had those further conversations most recently with the commissioners, we settled at a $250,000 scope of work. So this would provide the balance needed to get us to that budget for this project. And again, funded by cash.
Oh,
That
really?
was
I
not-
didn't see a zero.
It's a general fund request.
Oh, no, it's supposed to be cash.
Yeah, I didn't see a zero. That's great news.
Yeah, that was included in my,
You just
Total.
dropped my anxiety.
Okay, so commissioners, we did not make it through our list, but we are out of time for the meeting we have, so the others will have to hold until next week.
Okay,
Right.
great.
Thank
We will
you.
Thanks for
be starting on time.
doing the math.
No requests.
And on time.
And on time.
Okay. Sorry, thank you all.
We're almost done.
Yeah, thanks.